Another lesson that we can learn from this story, that there is distinction among the dead, those that suffer and those that rest. Not the kind of distinction that we see now, that people who are rich have very, very big mausoleums and beautiful tombs, and those who die economically poor actually have to go through a very, very humble burial, or probably take a very humble place in a cemetery. But that is not the distinction that heaven sees. God sees a distinction between those who suffer and those that rest. Merong nagdurusa pagkamatay at meron namang napapahinga. At saan yun nakabatay? That is based on their distinction while alive on earth. Hindi naman po mahirap isipin kung anong pupuntahan nyo sa kabilang buhay, babaligtarin mo yung kalagayan mo ngayon. Kung makasarili ka, nag-enjoy ka at nagpasasa ka, ano mangyayari sa'yo? E di may balancing, ikaw naman yung magdurusa. Pero kung ikaw'y nabuhay sa pag-ibig, sa pagbibigay sa kapwa, sa pagtitiis, kahit ka pa mayaman, pwedeng gawin nyo ng mayaman. Kahit ka pa sikat, meron ka rin mga sacrifices, you know that even that will be balanced, and that you're having been wealthy or powerful or famous will not be taken against you if despite or because of your celebrity, you lived a good life. Good to others, meaning. Kaya mahalaga na tayo maibigin. Hindi ka man inibig, iibigan ka ng Panginoon, babalansihin ka niya. Parang si Maricel Soriano, sabi niya, mahalin mo ako para sa lahat ng hindi nagmahal sa akin. Ganon ang gagawin ng Panginoon sa atin. Kung tayo maibigin, mapagmahal, mapagbigay, wala man lang nagsukli, wala man lang gumanti, ang Panginoon na magbabalanse nun. Walang mabuting gawa ang nasasayang kahit kailan. Lagi yan na nakalista, tinutuos, binabalanse ng langit. Another great lesson, that the gap and distance between the two destinations cannot be bridged. Wala nang lipatan kung natapos na ang buhay dito sa lupa. In eternity, it cannot be bridged. So you want to bridge it, do it now. Pwede pa magpalipat-lipat ngayon. Mula sa makasarili, pwede ka maging mabuti. Mula sa mayabang, pwede ka pang maging mapagpakumbaba. Pwede pa tayong lumipat ng sitwasyon habang nabubuhay dito sa mundo. Pero pag kinamatayan mo, kung ano yung kamatayan mong lugar, dun ka na. What people do while alive in the body bears on their final and eternal destiny. Kaya hindi natin ipinagluluksa ang pagpanaw ng mga mabubuting tao na nasa Panginoon. Nanalig sa Panginoon, nagpaligtas sa Kanya, tapos mabuti pa ang buhay. Mabuti in the sense na mabuti para sa kapwa. Matulungin. Pagpapala siya sa marami, ang kanyang pagpanaw ay kapahingahan para sa Kanya. Hindi kalugihan. Ang anumang ginagawa natin dito sa lupa, nakalista sa langit at may katumbas na parusa o gantimpala. Hindi dapat nililimot itong mga basic truths na to. Sometimes, modern life gives you so much choices. Trying to order coffee in a restaurant and there's so many choices. Order tea, order soda, order water, mineral ba, alkaline ba, di ba? Ang dami-daming choices. Pero ang totoo sa buhay, simple lang ang choices. Good or bad, yun lang. Righteous or unrighteous, godly or ungodly. And do not be confused, because the choices are clear and simple. Luke 16:27-31. But the rich man said, Abraham, then please send Lazarus to my father's home. Let him warn my 5 brothers so they won't come to this horrible place. Abraham answered, your brothers can read what Moses and the prophets wrote. They should pay attention to that. Then the rich man said, no, that's not enough. If only someone from the dead would go to them, they would listen and turn to God. So Abraham said, if they won't pay attention to Moses and the prophets, they won't listen even to someone who comes back from the dead. Kung hindi po pwede na lumipat dito tong si Lazarus para bigyan ako ng konting ginhawa, palipatin nyo naman dun sa daigdig ng mga buhay pa. Pauwiin nyo sa lupa. Papuntahin nyo sa bahay ng aking ama dahil may 5 pa akong kapatid na katulad ko rin. At siguradong pag hindi sila nagbagong loob, pag namatay sila, dito rin sila hahantong. Ayokong mangyari sa kanila ang nararanasan ko ngayon. So please, pauwiin niyo po sa lupa si Lazarus at bigyan ng babala mga kapatid kong totoo ang chismis, may hell. Sabi ni Abraham, hindi pwede. Ang dami-dami nang nakasulat, sinulat ni Moses sa mga propeta, lahat ng kailangan malaman ng tao para makilala ang Diyos, magbalik loob sa Diyos, at maiwasang mapunta dyan sa kapahamakan pag namatay ang katawan. Alam na ng lahat ng tao yan. Dapat nilang basahin. Hindi na kailangan magpauwi pa na isang multo para lamang turuan ng kabutihan at magbalik loob sa Diyos sa mga tao dahil lahat yan nakasulat na. So hindi pwede. That's why Lazarus was the ghost who could not return. Abraham said, no. Everything that man needs to know about God, the way that leads to God, is already written about. All they have to do is refer to scriptures. And if they won't read the scriptures, it's pointless even to send someone back from the dead. They still won't listen. So this rich man was very loving to his brothers, and they were afraid that they would get to the same destination if they did not have a dramatic change of direction in their spirituality. But of course, the request was denied. That's why Lazarus was the ghost who could not return. What do we learn from here? At least in this case, the dead are not allowed to return to earthly dimensions, even on saving missions. Sometimes the dead are allowed. Samuel, the prophet, returned after death. But even Samuel was called to return to earth. He did not do a saving mission. In fact, what he did was to further condemn King Saul. Alam niyo ang kwento, King Saul was at war and he was definitely going to lose. He needed guidance. God would not answer him. So he went to a woman who could call spirits and requested the woman to call Samuel from the dead so he could consult with Samuel. Well, Samuel dutifully returned. So in this case, the dead returned. But Saul was not able to get what he wanted. He did not get salvation. He did not get an advice. But so Samuel only reaffirmed what had already been concluded, that Saul would lose the war. And then Samuel even said, tomorrow you will die, you will join me. So that is another case when the dead was able to return, but it was still useless to those people who wanted that return to happen. So better leave the dead alone. Habang nabubuhay ka, gawin mo ang dapat mong gawin, alamin mo ang dapat mong alamin, basahin mo ang dapat mong basahin. At kung kilala mo ang Panginoon, alam mo ang mga kasulatan ni Moses at ang mga propeta, ituro mo na ng ituro sa lahat ng taong mahal mo, maski hindi mo kilala. Kasi darating ang panahon, pag nasa kabilang buhay ka na at napatunayan mong totoo pala ang lahat ng nakasulat, wala ka na magagawa para patotohanan yan sa mga nabubuhay pa dito sa lupa. Ngayon na ang panahon.